9mm cartridge has long held a prominent place in the world of firearms, serving as a bridge between military standardization and civilian versatility. Its widespread adoption by armed forces and law enforcement, paired with its dominance in the concealed carry market, speaks to its enduring appeal. Yet beneath this success lies a growing controversy, particularly within military circles, where the 9mm performance has come under scrutiny. This review explores the historical context of the 9mm, the challenges it faces in military applications due to international restrictions, its contrasting effectiveness in civilian hands, and the ongoing debate over potential replacements. Blending objective analysis, personal insights, and community perspectives, this piece aims to unpack the complexities of the 9mm's legacy and its uncertain future. Historical context: the rise of 9mm. The 9mm Parabellum, designed by Georg Luger in 1902, emerged as a revolutionary cartridge that balanced manageable recoil with sufficient ballistic performance. Its adoption by the US military in 1985, alongside the Beretta M9 pistol, marked a pivotal shift from the heavier .45 ACP, used in the iconic M1911. This transition was driven by practical considerations. The 9mm offered higher magazine capacity, reduced recoil for improved shooter control, and logistical alignment with NATO allies, who had already standardized the round. For decades, the 9mm served admirably, its lightweight design and cost-effectiveness making it a staple in military arsenals worldwide. However, what once seemed like a triumph of engineering has revealed cracks in its armor. Modern combat demands have exposed limitations that the 9mm struggles to overcome. Limitations tied not to the cartridge itself, but to the ammunition it's forced to use in military contexts. The core issue: FMJ versus Hollowpoints. At the heart of the 9mm controversy lies a stark divide between military and civilian applications, rooted in the Hague Convention of 1899. This international agreement prohibits expanding bullets in warfare, mandating the use of full metal jacket FMJ rounds for military sidearms. FMJ ammunition, with its solid lead core encased in a copper jacket, is designed to penetrate cleanly, a feature intended to reduce unnecessary suffering. In practice, however, this design compromises the 9mm's stopping power. FMJ rounds often overpenetrate, passing through targets without transferring sufficient energy to incapacitate quickly. This is a critical flaw in close-quarters combat, where immediate threat neutralization is paramount. Contrast this with the civilian world, where hollow-point ammunition, such as the Federal HST, Speer Gold Dot, or Hornady Critical Defense, is not only legal, but widely embraced. These rounds expand upon impact, creating a larger wound channel and delivering energy more effectively. The result is a 9mm that punches above its weight, offering reliable stopping power with minimal risk of overpenetration. For civilians and law enforcement, this transforms the 9mm into a versatile and potent option, adaptable to a range of self-defense scenarios. The disparity is striking. The 9mm's potential is undeniable when paired with modern ammunition, yet the military is shackled by a century-old convention that prioritizes ethics over efficacy. It's a frustrating paradox. A cartridge capable of excellence is rendered mediocre by rules that no longer fully align with the realities of contemporary warfare. Military frustrations, real-world challenges. The military's dissatisfaction with 9mm FMJ is well documented, with combat reports from Iraq and Afghanistan painting a grim picture. Soldiers have recounted scenarios where multiple hits with 9mm FMJ failed to stop determined adversaries, particularly those wearing heavy clothing or makeshift armor. In one hypothetical, yet plausible, urban engagement, a soldier might fire several rounds from a Beretta M9 into a threat, only to see the target continue advancing due to the round's limited terminal effect. Overpenetration further complicates matters, posing risks to civilians in densely populated areas, a concern that contradicts the Hague Convention's humanitarian intent. This isn't mere speculation, it's a recurring theme in after-action reviews. The 9mm lightweight projectile, typically a 115 grain or 124 grain FMJ, lacks the mass and energy retention of larger calibers, exacerbating its struggles against resilient targets. While the M9 itself is a reliable platform, its ammunition leaves soldiers wanting more. A sentiment echoed across military forums and training grounds, exploring alternatives, a caliber conundrum. Given the military's woes, several alternative calibers have entered the conversation, each with its own advocates and detractors. Let's break them down. 45 ACP. The 45 ACP, once the US military's standard with the M1911, is a heavy hitter with a reputation for stopping power. Its 230 grain FMJ rounds deliver substantial energy, making it less prone to overpenetration than 9mm FMJ. Community lore is rich with tales of its effectiveness, and many veterans swear by its knockdown potential. However, its recoil is stout, reducing controllability for less experienced shooters, and magazine capacity tops out at 7 to 8 rounds in most platforms. 40S and W, introduced as a compromise between 9mm and 45 ACP, the 40S and W offers a middle ground. Better terminal performance than 9mm FMJ, with less recoil than 45 ACP. Paired with pistols like the Glock 22 or SIG P226, it gained traction in law enforcement before many agencies reverted to 9mm. Its snappy recoil and reduced capacity, typically 12 to 15 rounds, draw criticism. 10mm. The 10mm, famously championed by the Colt Delta Elite and later the Glock 20, is a powerhouse. Its high velocity and energy make it a favorite among those who prioritize penetration. Yet its recoil is punishing, limiting its appeal to elite units rather than general infantry. 357 SIG. The 357 SIG, used in the SIG P229, combines high velocity with a flat trajectory, excelling against body armor. Its 125 grain FMJ rounds mimic the ballistics of a 357 Magnum. However, its niche status means limited availability and higher costs, a red flag for military budgets. 300 Blackout. While primarily a rifle round for platforms like the AR-15, the 300 Blackout is noted for its subsonic versatility with suppressors, ideal for special forces PDWs. Its use in sidearms, however, is a non-starter due to size and recoil. Switching calibers isn't just a matter of picking a winner, it's a logistical nightmare. The military has invested heavily in 9mm infrastructure, from ammo stockpiles to training regimens. NATO interoperability adds another layer of complexity, as allies would need to align or risk fractured supply chains. Community and personal reflections. The firearms community is a vocal chorus in this debate. On platforms like Glock Talk, 9mm loyalists argue that modern Hollowpoints prove its worth, while 45 ACP fans counter with tales of its stopping power. 40S and W and 357 SIG have their niches, but neither commands the universal support needed to dethrone 9mm. The 10mm garners cult-like devotion, yet its recoil keeps it on the fringes. Consensus leans towards sticking with 9mm and pushing for ammunition innovation within legal bounds. Personally, I lean toward optimism for the 9mm. Its civilian success suggests that the cartridge isn't the problem. Policy is. If the military could explore non-expanding designs that mimic hollow point effects, like advanced frangible rounds, it might bridge the gap. Conclusion. The 9mm crossroads. The 9mm is a paradox, thriving in civilian hands with hollow points, but struggling in military use due to FMJ restrictions. Its strengths, capacity, control, and affordability are undeniable. Yet the Hague Convention limits its combat potential. Alternatives like 45 ACP, 40S and W, 10mm, and 357 SIG tempt with power, but logistical hurdles keep 9mm entrenched. Caught between tradition and modern demands, its story is one of untapped potential. The military's next move will shape its legacy, but for now, the 9mm remains a symbol of what could be. Loved this deep dive into the 9mm debate? Hit that like button, share with fellow shooters, and subscribe with notifications on to stay locked into the latest firearms insights.